everybody. Oh, my goodness. We made it through.
We made it
through. Oh, my goodness. Craig has made it through quite a few glasses of wine already.
Maybe.
We're here.
And maybe more to come.
Maybe more to come. We're here at Love
see.
and Exile in Nashville, Tennessee with our diehards. Everybody wave. Hello. They
What's
can't
up,
see you, but
diehards?
we can see
I
you.
can see him through the ring.
Yay!
This is quite a perspective.
Oh, man. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the PHNX Coyotes podcast presented by Four Peaks. Thank you, Four Peaks. We miss you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Petey and Craig. It feels like the three of us have barely done shows, just the three of us.
So we've been here
week.
for 4 days, and I don't know if I really felt like I've been around you guys much.
Yeah.
It's been like yesterday is a sad separation. You guys worked really hard, and today we were all boots on the ground at round 2. And again, everybody's got their own
2, 3,
jobs
4,
to
5,
do.
6, and 7.
Yeah, we've got our own jobs to do, and so we haven't really had a chance to do this for a while. So it's really nice.
Yeah, it's really nice.
How's
everybody feeling about this week?
So I was weary when we walked out of the draft today, and I think the second day of the draft will always do that to you. Once you get to like rounds 4, 5, 6, 7, thank God not 8 and 9, it gets a little weary. You know, you look at the players going and you're like, I don't know any of these guys. I can't offer commentary on any of these guys, and I'm probably never going to have to talk about most of these guys ever again after today. So it's sobering in that sense. But we got back to the Airbnb. We had some coffee.
Thank you for the coffee
We
run.
rallied. We had some coffee. We got here to Love and Exile. Tyler Alkins is hooking us up. He will be on the show for a 5-minute segment. This is a great spot, and I'm feeling good
You can
again.
see the wall.
Yeah, we got a tour of the
wall
place
behind us.
We went down in the basement where he keeps the bodies. Not really. And
All
we're
right.
having a blast now.
I missed that part.
Yes, we're having a blast.
Yeah, we are absolutely having a blast. What a week it's been in Nashville. You just mentioned we can't offer much analysis on the players. We're not the draft experts, but we can offer you this. They drafted size.
Oh, boy.
Holy shnikey. They are all over 6 feet. The shortest guy in this draft, 12 picks, none under 6 feet tall.
Yeah, the Minnesota kid, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's the one place where you can afford to look at skill.
Yeah,
you know,
Minnesota.
You go to Minnesota.
Good Minnesota kid, and we will talk about that Minnesota kid a little bit later.
Really?
So we've talked about it. I understand Bill's motivation to go for size, and he talked about it that in St. Louis, and we talked about Pietrangelo, we talked about Periaco, we talked about they started with the big guys coming out. I get it. Last year's draft was focused at Logan Cooley. Is not a big guy. Dylan Gunther, not a big guy. Matthias Michelli, Geeky's a little bigger.
Clayton
but he's not
Keller.
a big guy. Clayton Keller. So if you want to have that kind of skill, that kind of speed, and that kind of size, and you want to win, you need to protect those guys. We started with Jack McBain last year, and Lawson Krause too. So we've got some of that size.
Yeah.
I think what this did, the reality is, not all the players they drafted are going to play.
Yep.
So
Most of them.
Right.
True,
So
most
they
of them.
need a few of these guys to pan out at that size, and yes, that makes a difference. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights and how they defended. It makes a difference. So I do think.
How many beers have you had?
I do think that the size makes a difference. The biggest issue I'm having over this last 2 days of draft talk is I don't know. And what I don't know. And it really bothers me that I can't evaluate. I can tell you what's going on with Clayton Keller's game. I can tell you when he doesn't drive the net or when he's not back checking. I don't know these guys. I want to know them. We're going to get a chance to look at them next week. But the real evaluation of this guy is so far away right now.
Yes, it is.
I mean, we talk about the 2 Russians. That's 2 years more in the KHL. So it's 3 years from now. So I want everybody, we talked about last night, pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not saying they nailed it and what a great find and they did amazing. And I'm also not saying they blew it because I really don't know. We sat here and talked about Brendan Perlini. What a draft pick.
Yep.
Gormley. Oh my gosh, he's the next coming at the back end. He's unbelievable. No. Mark Byzantine. No.
Boy.
So we've talked to you so highly about those guys, and they were so highly coveted in the draft, and yet they don't pan out. And then conversely, you look at guys drafted later that work out. So we don't know, and that's what's so frustrating to me because I'd like to say Shimashev. I did talk to a lot of scouts, GMs, and staff people today. Shimashev was on their lists.
Yes.
Shimashev, we might not have talked about in the mock draft, but the teams I talked to said he was going in the teens. He was going to be gone. And so I understand the Coyotes' fear of not waiting till 12. I said yesterday I thought they could have waited till 12 and got him. after talking to people, I was wrong.
And that's what Daryl Plandowski said to us after the draft ended. Because they were asked, would you have considered maybe trading back a little? And they said they thought about it, but they would have been devastated if they lost out on him. So they just thought, we have the pick, why not go for it?
Because, he's the guy that they invested a lot of time in. And we've heard the story now, how they got into Belarus to see a tournament, to watch these guys play live, which you knew was a prerequisite of spending the number 6 pick, even the number 12 pick on a guy. You got to see him live. You can't go off video scouting and say, I've got a clear picture of him. No, you don't get a clear picture from video scouting. You don't even get a clear picture from talking to people in his life, because a lot of times, as we know, people will lie. They'll build up their guy. Yep. You got to go see the guy. You got to see how he reacts away from the puck, how he reacts with his teammates. And you got to see with his parents. You got to get to know his family. All of that they did. They were able to do. Not a lot of teams got to do those live viewings. I think that might have contributed to where Simashev was ranked. But again, like you said, we don't know.
We don't know.
At this point, what they love about the guy is he's 6'4" and he can skate. Man, he can skate. He's a terrific skater. And I don't know if you watch the highlights of the way he handles the puck too. There's a lot to like that you can work with.
I think there's an offensive upside still with him. I don't think we've tapped into what he can do offensively. The one big key for me, and I just talked to some people back in Arizona earlier on the radio, and we talked about what do I look for. I like guys that can skate. Because I've been there when this team has drafted guys that they said, he just needs to skate a little better. We'll get him with a skating coach. We'll get him with skating. It doesn't work.
Nope.
If you're 18, 19 years old and you can't skate, guess what? You're going to be 22 and 23 and can't skate.
There's only incremental improvements that you can do at that
at that age and that skill to make improvements where you're going to be, okay, now he can skate. It's just not going to happen. So the skill set that Simashev has, you talk about a big man that can skate, I think the puck possession and the puck and the offensive puck moving stuff is going to come. I really, really do. So this could be a huge pick. Like if this guy, and I'm talking, people are saying top pair, if he's a top 4 defenseman that eats 22 to 24 minutes a game, can play defensive side of the puck and not hurt you offensively, it's a win for me, but
you don't know.
I don't know.
I'm in the same place, though. Like, I know some people are like, well, Ryan Leonard was there, too. And listen, I like Ryan Leonard. From what I've seen of him and read about him, he seems to be a very good prospect. But if I'm comparing those two positions, I know people hate hearing this from about John Chaika, but John Chaika always used to talk about premium positions. Those positions are center and defense. Yeah. So if you can get a top 6 wing or you can get a top 4 defenseman, I'm taking the defenseman. They're so much more important to team success.
We said this, too, on one of our preview shows. When you talk about those two positions specifically, a forward and a defenseman, the forward is going to make a bigger impact on his team from the draft at a younger age than the defenseman. You can come into the NHL at 19 or 20 and go, okay, I'm really fast. I got really good hands. I'll make a difference. 19 and 20-year-old defenseman, man, it's hard. Yeah, like you're going against men in the corner. You're trying to cover the front of the net. It's a much, much, much deeper learning curve. So to be 6'5", 200 pounds at 18, 19, and you can skate, I'm excited to see him. It happens every draft year. We get so excited about these guys, and then they're just poof, they're gone. Yeah. And then it's years on the road, and we talk about Michelli. Well, we forgot about Michelli's draft. Now Michelli's a player. Yep. So we will be talking about Simashev in the future. It's just going to take some time.
Yep. But
go ahead. I don't know if you want to say more on it, but I have other thoughts. We can keep going on this. Surprisingly, Petey and I can keep talking about this.
That's what we do.
I was just gonna move on, but if you have another comment, go for it. I'll just sit here and drink my lovely prosecco.
There are concerns. I know there are concerns like, can they get him over? There are always those concerns with Russian players. Well, if they come over, will they be willing to play in the AHL? You never know for certain, right? But the Coyotes did their homework. They talked to the parents. They met the kids. You heard the kids, what they said when they're there. Yeah. Can't wait to do this. They talked to the agent. Would he be willing to do this? If you end up in the AHL, is this a situation where he's going to balk and say, no, I either play in the NHL or I'm staying in Russia? They don't get the sense. You never really know. You never really know until that moment comes up. But they don't get the sense that either one of these kids is that sort of prima donna who's like, I got to play in the NHL, otherwise I'm not going to be here.
I'll make one last comment on the first-round picks, and it was about Daniil Booten. He's another player that I think the people that I talked to said, yes, they probably could have picked him up later, that I've heard that's a stretch.
Yep.
He may be outstanding. They think he's grown since they last saw him. Bill Armstrong said he might be 6'6" now, and he's a skilled guy at 6'6", 6'5", whatever you want to say. But the look on Simashev's face when they drafted Daniil Booten.
Yeah. Oh, my God. That video was unreal that he was live on the air.
If this is your guy, If Shimashev is the guy that's going to carry this team to the promised land and have the parade down Mill Avenue, wherever we're going, Country Club?
No,
Country
no
Club?
Mill,
We don't know.
no Tempe.
We don't know yet.
Country Club?
Maybe just down the 101.
The 101.
The 101 covers
So the
it all.
101, 202, and the 60. So if Shimashev's the guy that's going to get you there and you draft a good player that makes him a great player, hell yeah. You make him happy. You make him want to come over. You make him want to play on this team. You make him happy while he's at this team. Because we've been there, Craig, you and I have been around those teams when they have a guy he's the only Czech player on the team or the Russian on the team. It's hard.
It is.
You can't communicate. You feel like you're on an island and you're alone. And it's really, really hard to acclimate and be a part of a team. I think Daniil Boot could have been there later.
Yeah.
But
if they missed in him,
if you miss him and you missed a chance to make the player you feel is going to be the guy,
yeah,
and you missed that opportunity, then I've come around a lot from where I was 24 hours ago. I do understand the fans looking at us and go, what the, and I blame us. We've been talking about Ryan Leonard and all of those names for a month, and we don't know. We do it based on what the people that do know.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not us.
Don't say blame us.
Like,
It's just like
I don't know
everyone
Ryan Leonard.
was
it's
shocked
funny
and-
after the draft. Like you know the guys that we rely on, and I respect all the guys who
Yeah.
rely on Corey Proman, who is really high on Simashev, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
Loves the kid and
Yeah.
thinks
Yeah.
he definitely has top pair potential, but didn't have him mocked that high, right?
Yeah.
Chris Peters really respects him as well. Craig Button, you guys talked to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So all these people like him, but they didn't have him mocked that high. But it was crazy after they made the pick. You have scouting services reaching out to you saying, "We had him number 5. We had him number 6." So they're all over the map too.
Yeah.
Again, nobody knows.
Yeah.
Nobody knows.
Yep.
The interesting thing about Boot, when I was talking to Chris Peters again yesterday, he said he may have the highest ceiling in this draft. Don't know if he hits. He said he could be a superstar. What
Wow.
he doesn't know is if
Wow.
he can process the game at the speed that he needs to in the NHL. But in terms of ceiling, what he's heard from the scouts is this guy might have the highest ceiling in the draft.
So are we
which is
going to watch
crazy.
the KHL next year?
Can we?
I don't know.
Maybe we
Post-game
should-
shows would be like
maybe
at
we at
noon.
least get into Belarus and watch some games.
Here's Craig and Petey breaking down the noon KHL
and listen,
scoreboard.
I know, Craig, I know you don't like draft grades, but
Oh, boy.
Corey Proman did give the Coyotes an A-.
Oh.
And I just want to read a sentence from his analysis. He said, I thought they were high echelon pro prospects and guys who, if they played in the OHL, would have no doubt been top 10 picks this season in the public discourse. It's a risk by Arizona in taking both of them and getting them signed given the issues with their arena, but on talent, they deserve to be picked where they did.
Wow.
So,
I was right.
Great. I
There you
trust
have
him
it.
more than you
And
trust
again,
me.
this goes back to the live viewings thing, right?
Yep.
Not a lot of people saw Russian players. The Coyotes found a way to do it,
Yeah.
which is a story that I can't wait to write in detail.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, no, there's one more thing I want to say.
Sure.
So,
one more thing I want to say. That's
I
been you
promise.
guys both
Just
for the
the
last
last one.
10 minutes. Good Lord.
that's Corey Proman said that, right? He said,
Yes.
oh, great picks. Well, why in the hell didn't you say that a goddamn week ago?
Thank you. When you were on our show,
we're all
Corey.
now we're all coming out and said, oh, I had that guy really high. Well, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had him at 22. No, you had him at 19. You didn't have him at 6. Don't tell me 2 days later, oh, he's really good. No. You tell me
well.
before.
Oh, well.
Oh,
Well, we got to talk to the head scouts for the Arizona Coyotes who actually got to see these guys in person. We're also going to dive into rounds 2 through 7 here
We are.
in a little bit.
I'm not sure how deep
my
we
God.
have to
Di-
dive.
No, but we did one
There's
yesterday.
so much-
That's right.
yeah,
We were there.
yeah, yeah.
I was there.
Yesterday. And there's today.
No, the one-on-one. That was yesterday.
Oh, yeah. You
I
got
did
yeah.
all this already. I forgot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I knew it sounded familiar.
You guys just kept talking. But we did get to talk to Daryl Plandowski and Ryan Jankowski. Can they make that harder for us?
I love that they're both skis.
Oh my
Cracks me
goodness.
up.
To talk to them a little bit about, their process for this draft and kind of overall what the outlook for the future is now for this team that they've had the drafts they have. I think it was something like 31 draft picks over the last 3 seasons, something crazy like that. So we got to speak to the scouts on how they feel about the current prospect pool, and this is what they had to say.
We like to think so. I mean, we've got picks the next couple of years where high picks, which is always exciting for the staff. But it allows you to stack players and see how they develop. But we have lots of good picks and lots of good prospects right now, and we'll just see over the next couple of years how they develop.
I do feel it's an exciting time. We were excited after last year's draft with the 3 first-rounders. Now we add in the forward, the defenseman, and the goalie, and it's starting to round out even more now, and that's Bill's plan, right? Round this out with really top-notch prospects and a lot of draft picks so that we have what I call stock the cupboards.
Stock the cupboards.
Stock the cupboards.
And it's so true. Like, you look at, they're trying to build a well-rounded team, not just draft a bunch of high-end skill guys. Like, that's not how you build a team. Hockey more than, maybe football, but hockey more than basketball, let's say. Like, you need a well-rounded team. You need that depth. And, look at the Golden Knights and the team they just put up to win the Cup and how that team was built in terms of, how the different types of players and what they brought. So I thought that was an interesting interesting comment.
I'll say this. We talked about how building a team and getting guys in spots. I can go back, and it's not that in too distant past, the distant future. The Edmonton Oilers, when you had 4 top picks year after year, they had 4 of the number 1 picks over a 6-year span, but they got all the same player. You got the small skill guy, and you picked the best skilled guy overall. If they would have picked for need and fit, maybe their outcome ends up a little bit different. They ended up taking, he's the skill guy, and here's what everybody said we should pick, so we should pick him. I do agree with Bill that you pick your spots, and I've said this before. If you can draft a player on your roster and he's your third-line right wing, but he plays for you for a decade, and he's a consistent NHL player, and he puts in 70 to 80 games a year, that is a win in the draft. I don't care if he's in the first round, third round, fifth round. If you have your third-line right winger, it's great. Every team needs that first-line winger, but it's the second-line, third-line. You saw the playoffs?
Yeah, depth.
Vegas wins because of their depth, period. Like, they wore down they wore down their opponent the entire playoffs because they were deep. And I think that we have to believe in Bill building a team right now, and I do. And I hope years from now I'm saying that was the right guy.
And not just Bill, right? The guys that we just heard from, right? I want to reiterate that, like how well respected Daryl Plandowski is around the league, and you know this as well. Look at his work in Tampa Bay. This is a guy where you can talk to scouts all around the league and ask them about Daryl Plandowski, and they'll tell you he's spectacular at his job. Again, that doesn't mean he's going to get it all right. He's going to get more wrong than right. Yeah. That's the nature of the business when you're drafting 17 and 18-year-olds. But this guy puts in the work. This guy has the acumen. He knows what he's doing. He was a great hire. So you have to put your faith in these guys and not pay as much attention to draft boards, mock drafts, media-driven stuff. I know it's...
Keep watching the mock drafts, though.
Well,
and the
if we do them again, But
I think we got 2 picks right in ours.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want an exercise, when you start critiquing a draft right after it happens, if you want an exercise to test yourself, go back and look at previous mock drafts, how the first round looked in a mock draft, what it actually ended up being, and then see how the guys performed. Go ahead. Go take a look at it. You're going to find immense disparity.
Yes.
One more thing from the scouts before we move on to what happened today. Got to talk to them about the position groups, and that's something we talked a lot about in the weeks leading up to the draft. Obviously they drafted a guy that they think is going to be a top defenseman. They went out and drafted 3 goalies, which we're going to dive into in a couple minutes today as well. So we asked them, where do you see the position groups at prospect pool at this point in time? And then what's the outlook, in next year's draft, let's say? And this is what the scouts had to say on that.
I think we wanted to get a defenseman. Getting our defenseman right away and then getting a forward. I think going forward, we feel, and then getting three goalies, I think going forward we feel like we're even. We don't feel that we have a hole at any position. Next year we can draft any kid at any position. And that's the nice part. We didn't get defenseman heavy, we didn't get forward heavy, we're not goaltender heavy. We're just kind of at a nice even keel.
Yeah. So Daryl Plandowski says they're even, and now they can just draft the best players available. We'll see.
Well, Joel's here, and he's clearly had too much wine. I can't see. Oh, there's Joel right there. Yeah. Joel said more mock drafts.
Joel's basically just hopping the set right now.
Yeah. More mock drafts from Joel.
Oh, man.
I love it. I had a great time.
Oh, man.
So I know you're going to get to ads here, and we need to get to ads at some point. Petey and I need to just shut up for a while. But
you guys have had too many drinks.
But I don't feel like I got the full answer of what I asked today when I asked him. They clearly drafted 3 goaltenders today. So I know Bill's philosophy is to draft a goalie each year and keep the stockpile coming. But at some point, as these guys come through the system, you don't have anywhere for them to play. Yeah. You can only afford a certain amount of goaltenders in the system at any time. But I was more curious about how they felt about the forward prospect pool and the defense prospects pool. We don't know yet if they even have a number 1 defenseman in the system. Maybe Simashev is that guy. I don't know that you could say that about anybody else having that sort of upside. Yeah. So do they have that piece yet? I don't know. Do they have a number 1 center? Maybe Logan Cooley. If Logan Cooley is the number 1 center, they definitely don't have a number 2 center. There are holes still in this prospect pool that they need to fill at some point. Maybe it doesn't all happen through the draft. It's really hard to get those premium positions, though, anywhere other than the draft.
Yep. Well, for the amateur scouts, they can finally relax.
It's time.
The pro scouts are the ones that they have to start picking it up because free agency's Saturday, and we're going to preview it all tomorrow. That'll be a very tired show on our behalf, but we are still going to preview NHL free agency. But for the amateur scouts, I hope that they take a break, maybe hit the golf course. Hit the golf course. And if they do, I'd recommend they check out Pins and Aces to grab themselves some awesome golf gear, golf apparel. They can get the beer sleeve that keeps your beer cold in your golf bag. Tons of great stuff at Pins and Aces. So make sure you check out pinsandaces.com and use that code PHNX to receive 15% off your first order and get free shipping. That's pinsandaces.com. And then maybe after they hit the links, they can head down to Mill Ave and stop by Illegal Pete's for an ice cold margarita. Ooh, that sounds good.
Do you know my kids have not been to Illegal Pete's yet?
That seems like a parenting
I was just
thing.
gonna say, totally parenting.
That's on you. Your kids don't even drive, so you're the one who needs to drive them there.
That cuisine is right up there.
Literally,
to get them there.
It's your fault.
Well,
probably is.
They're too young to drink, but you can.
Not too young to eat.
No. But Margarita Monday. I was gonna say you should go on. I was originally gonna say you can go on Margarita Monday.
He only feeds them on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Kick off your week with Margarita Monday at Illegal Pete's, exclusive to Arizona locations. $3 margs all day, every Monday. Nothing brightens up that Monday mood more than soaking up the sun with a few margaritas. And then Taco Tuesdays. This is your family does Taco Tuesday, and this is when you should take your kids.
You're right.
Yeah.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, 4th of July. Maybe the one after.
All right, the one after. Will we be in Bill Armstrong's backyard then? I don't know.
Who knows at this point? $2 tacos all day, every Tuesday. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2. So swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. All right, let's dive a little bit into what happened today. Obviously, we can't go so deep. We didn't get to talk.
Quick.
We didn't get to talk to the back half guys. But
just go out and say it.
We
know nothing.
Yeah, the big besides the size. And besides picking 12 players, the other big things that happened today, was that they picked 3 goalies.
Crazy.
And
which I joked about with them, and they laughed.
So we're technically one goalie short here.
Yeah, there's too many goalies. I'm surrounded by goalies constantly. Help me. But they went out and picked a goalie at the earliest possible place they could today. Round 2, pick 38, so the 6th pick in the second round. And it kind of... It wasn't the first goalie picked in this draft, but it kind of was part of a huge run of goalies that went in the second. Michael, how do you say his last name? Rabel?
Yep.
Michael Rabel, huge guy, first of all. I was waiting for him in the hall. He walked in, and I was like, oh, my God. And I'm tall. 6'6", 209 pounds. Crazy.
Yeah. And may still be growing. He said maybe I may add another half inch. I think he's technically like 6'6" and a quarter or 6'6" and a half right now. So we may end up at 6'7". But what was the one question that Petey asked during the scrum?
About the reverse VH.
Exactly.
Why wouldn't I? I'm so. I had a goalie in front of me.
He said he leaves a small. He said he leaves a small hole, but he never.
Did say.
He never let in a reverse VH.
The past 2 years, I can't remember ever.
So I said, okay, we're good.
Yeah.
And that was it.
He was
awesome. Like, for a guy that's 6'7", it's probably like this, right? Just the width of a puck.
But I don't want to see it. He's 6'7". I'm 5'10". I'm not. So when I stand up, I don't hit the post. He's leaning down and he hits the post.
That's
so he better not.
crazy.
So I was okay. We're on good. We're good.
Crazy. But it was funny. We asked him about his height and size and if he's always been the biggest. And he said, well, his classmate was actually pretty big because his classmate's uncle was Zdeno Chara.
How crazy was that?
That was a crazy story.
And the other story that he told, his flight in Newark was
my God. It sounds like us last year.
So his 22-year-old sister did the entire drive. And somebody asked, did you want to split it with him? He's like, I don't have my license.
Yeah. Parents don't have a license.
Well, they didn't. They have one, but they didn't bring it with them. Yeah.
So
crazy.
The sister had to drive from Newark.
Came through in the clutch.
15 hours.
We should have drove here. We could leave. You and I could leave after the show. Well,
no, you guys. Not all the wine you've had to drink.
Probably not.
Oh man.
What else did we ask him? I'm trying to remember. Did we ask him about feral people? No.
There's the first reference. All right, let's get serious though. It is interesting because he is a Czech goalie, but he's in the U.S.
North American,
and he's going to college next year. So we asked him, why did you choose this path from the USHL to the NCAA, and this is what he had to say on that.
My parents, they were always very strict about education, so for me education is between number one and number two with hockey, and I think NCAA is the best thing for hockey, and then at the same time studying. That's why we chose the path of college, and the USHL was the best league for me to play in, and being able to play NCAA, and that's where I'm going from this fall, and I'm excited to enroll into UMass.
You know, we've been talking a lot about how the NCAA is becoming a huge option for players, not just American players, and I think this is a perfect example. And also, one of a few players we talked to today who talked about the importance of education to them.
Being academically inclined. Like, it was the answer that every parent wants to hear when their kid is speaking, right? Well, I care about education. My parents always stress this to me. Oh, he actually listened to me for a change. That was nice.
Yeah, but he was a great guy, really excited to see what he can be potentially. And we asked, or someone asked if he knew Karel Vejmelka, because another Czech goalie in the system. He knew of him, of course. I don't know if he'd met him personally, but exciting goalie prospect for this team, and one that was ranked number 2 among international goalies by Central Scouting.
But I think he was a top-rated goalie, and a number of, I think
he was.
Chris Peters had him top 32 maybe, or 34, I can't remember. Bob McKenzie, 39. A lot of people, and again, remember, goalies are not going in the first round much anymore, unless you're just a can't-miss guy like an Andrei Vasilevsky, or even earlier Marc-Andre Fleury, guys like that. They don't go in the first round anymore because it's considered too much of a risk with their development curve, and then really the live viewings you often get in their draft eligible year, they're often in a backup situation in a lot of places, so it's really hard to evaluate goalies. So this is a really intriguing prospect for me. They needed someone that they at least believe has high-end potential on the goalie front. We've talked a lot about the Coyotes' weird goalie history. They have never drafted and developed a true starting goaltender in the NHL, and yet they've had all these great guys come through. Maybe this is the guy that finally changes that narrative.
Maybe. And I know we're going to talk more goaltending here, so I'll save my overall arching theory until after. But I like the kid's size.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one of the guys. If you want to be successful in today's NHL, unfortunately for small goalies like ourselves, you've got to be big.
Well, it's funny because in person. So I stood near Connor Hellebuyck and Carey Price in the last week, just because of everyone being around. And the thing I noticed about both of them is they are extremely tall. Yeah. And they are two of the best goalies in the National Hockey League in the last 20 years.
And they're not even the big ones anymore. So you look at Vasilevsky and Darcy Kemper.
But I even noticed the height
more
on them.
And more. Yeah. So I like that. One of the things that I gravitated to that he said, because he talked about his size, he said, somebody asked him about his skill, and he goes, I'm big, but I can skate and move really well. Well, a lot of big guys are a little more clumsy and have more difficulties in moving around the net. So if he has that combination of size and speed around the net, athleticism, that's going to be really exciting to watch. I'm worried again because they're so long. The development time for a goalie is so long. I like that they hedged their bets and got more than one. Yep.
Yeah. They said we need backups. That's literally what the scouts said.
Yeah. But they had the opportunity, and that's what we talked about in this draft. They needed to come out of here. One of these guys needs to hit. One of the three.
And and that's something that Ryan Jankowski touched on as well. Just when you have this many picks, you're able to do things like this and pick more than one person of a position. And you're right. If one hits, then it's a complete win. They also took Melker Thielen. What a name, Melker.
Swedish kid.
Swedish kid, round 5, pick
big,
134,
right?
6'2", 170 pounds out of Sweden. And then the other guy they took was Carson Musser, 6'4", 215 pounds. He's from the USA U18 team.
Going to play for Colorado College next year.
Round 6, pick 166.
So here's
goalie haul.
Here's how this works. One guy hits, it's a win. Okay?
Yep.
2 or 3 guys hit, there's a problem. Nowhere for them to play because you have 6 spots. You got 2 here,
Trade
2 in
them away,
Tucson.
get some stuff.
And that's where I was going.
Yeah.
And that's what Mike McKenna said to me in the
Stuff
story
they work
before the draft.
If you hit one, it's great.
You want that situation where you have more than one, and then you have, if you can't find a place to play them,
then
you have
trade
assets.
Yeah. Yep. So I see it as a win-win. We've talked about where Prosvetov can be over the next few years, and this could be a signal that Prosvetov's days are either
Well,
numbered or he better play.
He's on notice, right?
Yeah.
He is on notice now.
That somebody's coming for your job.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Not just one goalie knocking at his door. It's three.
and they're really, really big.
Aside from Anson Thornton and
Yes.
Yeah.
Rasmus Korhonen.
Yeah.
So now they got like 5 guys down on that level.
Yeah. So it's a
Crazy.
team that we came into this draft saying they needed to get some depth at goaltending, and now they have that.
Yep. All right. Well, that's the goalies. I want to talk a little bit about the round 3 guys because those were the guys we also got to meet today as well. Jonathan Castagna.
I'm going with Costanza, but that's
Costanza.
We should just go.
Costanza.
We should just call him.
Oh, so this is what Shane and I decided because Castagna, you can be like Castagna, and then we can add him on Michelli and Castagna. That was you, Sean? Oh,
wow,
sorry.
you want full credit.
I always try to
You're right. You're right.
I still like Costanza though. I like Petey's idea.
They got
Maybe a hand model.
Yeah.
I got so many.
If you know, you know.
Noel Nord, Tanner Ludke,
Vandalay
Minnesota kid, and Vadim Moroz.
Can I say that I talked to the Minnesota kid?
Wait, what did you just say?
Moroz. I don't know.
It was
Sounds
close
right.
enough. So with Tanner Ludke, we got a chance to walk and talk with Tanner
Where's
Ludke
he from?
today. He's a Minnesota kid.
No
Surprisingly,
way.
of all the draft guys I talked to today, the one I decided to walk and talk with happened to be from Minnesota.
Was that after the fact, or was that part of the decision?
It's for people to decide. But we had a nice little walk and talk. I don't know when that will ever. Soon, right? People can see it soon.
Yeah, probably tomorrow or the
You met a lot of
weekend.
people actually. Out on the concourse, you met some people. Some whose identity is in question. But can you tell us about a little encounter with a mascot today?
We don't have that footage, do we?
Not for the show.
That's
Not
why
for
you
the
need
show.
to tell people.
No,
what
but
happened.
the
diehards were there.
I ran into Nash, the Nashville
Not
mascot.
Tyson.
The Nashville mascot. And the interesting thing is he communicated about as well as the second pick, Danielle Boot. They spoke about as much English, and Nash doesn't talk. So
Yep.
go from there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Look for that on our day 3 recap after we get on the plane at 5 in the morning. By the way, who the hell is our travel agent? Like, what the hell
Allie.
is that? Buddy.
Oh, you can't blame. Allie sat in an airport for like 6 hours today.
Yeah,
I have sympathy
okay.
for Allie today.
Yeah.
But seriously, like 5 a.m.?
Boy, howdy.
howdy.
A couple other things on
Okay.
these round 3 guys. We talked
They're
about.
also all tall.
They're all tall, all over 6
crazy.
feet. We talked about the goalie being an intellectual. Well, Jonathan Castagna, he is also an intellectual. He's going to Cornell. And he's kind of
Ivy
on.
League kid.
Yeah, he's kind of on a more non-traditional path as far as it goes in Canada. He was
High school kid.
St.
St.
Andrews,
Andrews.
instead of taking the junior route, which was really interesting. He was probably, and not just because he was one of the few guys that spoke English, just he was one of the most
Very
articulate. You
intelligent.
can tell this is an intelligent guy. So we asked him about why he chose this path to go to St. Andrews, a little bit more untraditional, and this is what he had to say on that.
Yeah, I think on the surface level you could say the development time, and I have an extra year of development than a lot of these major junior guys who maybe have 3 more years of playing. So just a longer development route and playing against older guys all around. I think the average age of playing Division I hockey is definitely higher than going the major junior route. So in saying that, I think the hockey is a little more physical and fast and competitive with those older and more mature players.
Another guy who
Very
opted for
intelligent.
college, though. Another guy who opted for college, and obviously education is important to him. It's another reason that he mentioned, but the extra year of development that going to college grants you. Just think his path is really interesting.
But
for
I've
a
always
Canadian.
been a proponent, and we've talked about this often. I'm a big proponent of the NCAA path.
Me too.
Unless you're talking top 5.
Yeah.
And you're talking about a guy that just needs to be game ready. Because one of the things the NCAA allows you to do, you practice so much more than you do in major junior. So you're allowed to develop more, fine-tune your game, learn the game more. You're also in a better position to get more physically strong because you're in a facility that has
Especially like if we're talking Big Ten or ASU, when they have
Yes.
these unbelievable facilities, right?
Yeah, so you're able to physically develop better. You're able to learn the game and get your hockey IQ better. I do like the practice time there. So I like the NCAA pass. And if you go to development camp tomorrow and you go to training camp in the fall and ask a coach which guys went to college and which guys went to major junior without numbers, you can tell. It's the guys that know the practice habits, the guys that are ready for practice on time, the guys that do the right things in the weight room, that they know the techniques, that they're just farther along. And I know a lot of them, when I say that they're farther along, a lot of times they're older. They're a year or two older. That's not uncommon for those college guys, but it's just a different way to develop. I really like it, and it's encouraging that we have so many players on this group that have decided to go that route.
Yeah, very interesting. And another thing he mentioned about going to St. Andrews is it was kind of mirrored the college schedule. Yes. And I thought that was really, really interesting. One other thing, I want to show this one other video from a round 3 pick, because this might have been one of the, but it's a very short clip, but it's one of the funniest, most genuine, like 18-year-old kids statements of the day. So Noel Nord, I think that's how you say his name. I'll try my best. Sat down at the podium, asked him, "How are you feeling?" And this is what he said.
So how are you feeling right now? What are your emotions?
I'm so shocked right now. This is sick. I mean, to be a part of Arizona is a dream come true. So yeah, feels incredible.
Wow.
This is sick.
This is
sick. You gotta love the honesty.
I do, and the smile on his face and how excited he is. There's one guy, and I'm going to go back to him again because we talked about this is sick and how excited he is to play in Arizona. One of the kids when I talked to on Walking and Talking, I talked to Tanner Ludke.
Minnesota kid?
Yeah, the Minnesota kid. But where do his grandparents live?
Arizona.
Surprise, Arizona. So guess where the kid went every Christmas to get out of Minnesota?
That's beautiful.
He went to visit his grandparents in Surprise. And what did they do when they were on vacation? They went to jobbing.com arena. And
jobbing at the time.
It was.
They
went to jobbing and watched the Coyotes. So this kid, Tad Kurlucky literally grew up a Coyote fan. And I'm not, a Minnesota kid is a Coyote fan drafted by the Coyotes. It is an unbelievable story.
Awesome.
And he's still, his grandparents are still in Sun City right now. So it's really, we talk about guys wanting to be here and guys wanting to be a part of this organization. I think they have that. And when we looked at number 6 last night and we saw Matvei Michkov not become a Coyote, maybe there are some players, that don't want to be Coyotes, and so that maybe they're not. We'll leave it at that.
Well, you can just say it outright because they did meet with Matvei Michkov. I know there were reports because I think people didn't actually watch Bill the day before the draft and understand the tone that he was probably joking or hiding something. They met him. They did meet with Matvei Michkov. And they got the distinct impression he wanted no part of the Yotes, and after that meeting, the Yotes wanted no part of him.
Yep, great. There you go.
I don't think that the Coyotes were alone in that.
Who came in here 2 weeks ago and said there might be a little problem with that?
Yeah.
Did anybody hear
And
me say that?
I wondered if it was just manufactured or teams trying
Bad
to get
guy.
him to drop, but
He's a bad guy.
I don't want to go that
I do, because
far,
I've had
but
people tell me that.
There are definite concerns, and I think
There
other
are some red
teams-
flags.
Other teams are like,
There's some red flags.
So. Yeah.
And so we'll see. Danny Briere's got to handle him with Philadelphia, so we'll see how that goes.
Good luck to Danny.
His talent is great. I don't know. It's a tough town to be tough in. So we'll see.
It's crazy all the ex-Coyotes in management.
Wow.
It's just all over the damn place.
We went and did a tour. We did a walking and not talking. We walked from the draft floor to show the path of a player that he came back. And when we got into the big thing where everybody's at the podium, you looked at the first podium. It's general manager Danny Briere, former Coyote. And the next one, Kevin Adams, former Coyote. And they were both at consecutive podiums.
And there's Brad Treliving, and there's
it was
Shane
unbelievable
Doan with him.
Chris O'Hearn.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The number of Coyotes that are involved in each team is amazing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Crazy. Coyotes worldwide.
Crazy.
Circle K worldwide. Circle
Buddy,
K countrywide.
everywhere. You know what else they
Everywhere
are?
here in Nashville.
Here.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
I love that. It's so consistent. I love it. Not just for the gas, but for all of the amazing snacks, the Polar Pops. It's hot here. We complain about being hot in Arizona. It is hot here.
It's hot here.
So, yeah, go inside, grab a Polar Pop when you stop by Circle K. Make sure you're not missing out on all the great stuff. Right now, you can text PHNX to 31310 to join Circle K's SMS subscriber club and get a buy one, get one free offer on 32-ounce Polar Pops. You can head to circlek.com/store-locator to find Circle K's near you. We have a very early flight tomorrow. Might not get a lot of sleep. Maybe we have to partake in OGs.
Petey's already left. Like we
Petey
haven't
walked
even
away.
welcomed our guests
This
yet.
is classic.
Petey's just bailing.
Petey's going to take an OGs right now. We have been loving the new pink lemonade flavor from OG's. It's Sean's favorite new flavor, and he's not alone in that. Absolutely delicious. So make sure you grab yourself the new pink lemonade gummies while you can. It's a limited edition flavor. Don't miss out. You can check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at ogsbrands. You can also find their products at your local dispensary, but you must be 21 or older to purchase. What's happening?
Well, our guest, we did have a guest. Unfortunately, the guest also is a very important businessman, which we clearly...
What's he doing? Is he busy right now?
He is unable to attend.
Oh, he's ducking us. He's ducking us.
It's all
he
good.
was already, and he said, I can't. I have to jump on a call.
Okay.
Bummer.
But here he is. But he can at least stop by.
Maybe we'll chat with him for the vlog.
He's just going to come by and say hi really quick, I think.
All right.
But
well, thank
we're
you.
here, though.
But thank you, Tyler, from Love Exile.
But one of the things that happens here at Love Exile, and I think you can see it behind us, it's the wall of what?
Shame.
Is it the wall of shame? What do you have to do to get onto the wall of shame?
You got to shotgun a can of wine.
Wine?
Not beer.
I say every time I describe the activity, I do say wine.
Yeah.
Or I say beer.
No.
And now I meant to say beer. This time I said wine.
Is it a trophy or a statue?
I believe Jack Eichel is up there 3 times.
Is that true?
Hockey players have come. Tyler would know. He knows all the legends of this place. But hockey players have come here through here quite regularly.
So if someone were to do this,
what's going on here?
I don't know. If someone were to do this.
Oh no, that's you, buddy.
Oh, it's all you, Craig.
Shotgunning.
It's all you, Craig.
I have done this. Oh, you got a towel.
There is no doubt. There is no clearly.
Craig, you've been telling
who has to write a story after this, and who has nothing to do?
Why are we here? Him.
Oh my God.
And who's talked about the wall of shame?
This for months.
I'm going up on the wall.
You're
outside.
So I will say, because we do
hope
have
that's white.
It is.
It's white?
I don't know what it is, buddy.
It looks white.
Right. And Christina's back here like, I can't
So it's
wait
the
to
bet.
get this on video.
I will say this: the bet MGM over under of him actually being successful here. I say no, and I'm getting the hell out the way.
Of wine. You
Buddy,
might want
I
to
don't
move your
know.
computer too. Like, I could ruin electronic
I'm
equipment
not
here.
stupid
I
here.
could cost PHNX a lot of money. I'm just telling you right
I'm
now.
staying
Do we
put,
really
but I am
want to do
moving
this?
my laptop.
Do we really?
But you've said,
look at
Look
people
at
can't wait to capture
All
this.
right, let's
you
do it,
wanted
Craig.
to do this, Craig. This is all about you. This is all about the Love and Exile and this wall of shame.
You know, we were talking about parenting and what
you
moments
just-
that make your parents proud. I hope my parents
You
never
just
watch
said,
this moment.
Jack. Don't you want to be right up there with the Stanley Cup champion, Jack Eichel? Can you do it? Is the question.
The chat is cheering you on. Craig.
I'm ready. Let's
Give
see
me a
it.
countdown. Give me a countdown.
Craig.
Give me a countdown.
5,
4,
3, 2, 1.
Oh, he doesn't even open.
He didn't open
doesn't
the
know
other
how.
end.
You got to open the other end, buddy. First time. You got to open the other end. It's not a. It's.
I know. That sound in the headset. Did you finish?
No. Can't do that. If I open the end, it's gonna rush into my mouth.
Well, that's the point.
No, buddy.
That's the whole.
You have no idea how hard that is. Like, the beer bong was so much easier.
Oh my God.
I have failed.
Not as
You
sad.
failed. You failed.
You
You
tried.
It was
You
sad.
did try. You did try.
You
Let me
did
tell
try.
you something.
Yeah.
Shotgunning a can of wine is a lot harder than shotgunning a beer.
I will
I
never
have
find
done
out.
both now, and wow.
I will say this, Craig. I know you were not successful. No, he did not. Did he do it? Are you kidding?
She's so disappointed
Thank
in
you for your
him.
sympathy. I appreciate it.
But there was no doubt he was not going to do this.
But he didn't. He also didn't open the other end. So.
But that's the whole thing. It's gravity. It's physics.
Oh, it was coming in just fine. Trust me. It was coming in just fine.
Well, I appreciate you trying, and I appreciate you doing that here at Love and Exile, and they've been fantastic here for the last 2 days.
Most of it is in me, and I still have to write a story.
They've been fantastic the last 2 days, by the way. They've
Yeah.
been
Oh,
fantastic.
By the way,
gosh.
I want to say this to all the diehards right now, all of my copy editors out there in the diehard community, and I have a lot of them. If you see typos in my story tomorrow, give me a pass. Just give me a pass, okay?
Oh, boy. Well, it was fun. I appreciate that, Craig, and I appreciate you setting us up here. They've been great here. And if you are coming to Nashville, get off Broadway for at least a meal or a wine and stop up at Love and Exile.
Yeah,
Say hi to
awesome
Tyler from
place.
Vancouver. Mackenzie behind the bar. He's been amazing.
Vibes are immaculate.
Vibes are fantastic. It's been great
incredible.
here.
I love it. The food is amazing, right?
Don't go in
you
the
tried
basement.
a bunch of it. Yeah, don't go in the basement. You might not come up again. No, we're kidding.
Five's
Really.
out. $5 super chat. Petey's
No,
turn.
I can't do it. I won't do it. So that's. I didn't pick the. Next time I pick the bar, I'll
You guys
do
are like,
something.
open the end. I'm like, buddy, I can't take any more in my mouth at this point. It was. Yeah, oh boy.
What did
All
you
right.
say?
Nothing.
Nothing. We're
All
going to
right,
move on.
let's
We're going to
finish
move
up.
on.
Okay.
Let's finish up talking about today's draft. And these guys were not in the building today, but the Arizona Coyotes did add 3 more guys outside of the goalies and round 3. Terrell Goldsmith, Justin Kipke, and Samu Bao. I hope I said all those names right. What do these guys have in common? 6'3", 6'3", 6'5". So it just continues
Crazy,
along.
right?
This
team's going to be
giant.
huge.
So, and most of these guys will be available. Most of them, not all of them, can get here in time. But development camp starts next week.
The Russians won't. The Belarusian won't.
Yeah, but
They can't because of contracts. But
our good friend Stan Wilson, right now, he's going, what? Like at 6'5", what? Like Ray Whitney's pants ain't gonna fit, so they got to go to a different. They're pulling out the extra large bin. This is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see some of these guys play. More importantly, I can't wait to see some of them on our show. We will be
The ones who speak English.
We will be at the ice stand every day next week, and we'll
Almost
be talking to
every
guys.
day.
Well, I will be.
did they draft anybody with special punctuation?
I don't think that
I don't
they
think
did.
they did
Ooh,
this
I don't
time
think
around.
they did.
Can you believe that
So
for you?
That's
a
the one
win.
good
That's a win.
reason for not drafting
So
Dvorsky. Oh, here, let's
There
look.
it is.
Let's do a final recap
Here we
of
go.
There it is.
who they picked. Obviously, round 1. Is it just Simashev, right? It's not Shimashev. It's just Simashev.
Yeah,
I
there's an
believe.
extra H in
Yeah,
there. It's
might
Simashev.
be. Daniil Boo. They got Michael Robble. Robble? Did we decide on that?
Yeah, Robble.
Robble. They got Castagna.
Costanza. We're going with Costanza.
Jonathan-
I'm sorry.
For the rest of the
Jonathan
show.
Costanza from here on out.
Noel Noor, Tanner Ludke, Vadim Moroz, Terrell Goldsmith, Justin Kipke, Samu Bao, and
The 2 goalies.
Carson
You left out
Musser.
Thielen, but
That's because it's out of order
Out
on
of
my
order.
document. Melker
gotcha.
Thielen
Yeah,
as well.
there you
So
go.
12 guys. They drafted all 12.
The most players that Coyotes have drafted since the draft went down to 7 rounds.
yeah. And we asked them today,
In
did you expect to
2005.
execute all? And of course, Daryl and Ryan both said, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Of course they
Yeah.
Because
course they
any
did.
scout you ever talked to are like, yeah, we
You
would have
should
taken
see-
14.
You should see a scout when they've got to pick, like, been there too, and the scouts are like, we've got to pick at 32. And they're like, oh, God, it's at 27, it's at 28. And the Coyotes have traded pick and they're just like, like, no, why did I drive to Moose Jaw? Like, they didn't need that report. It's hilarious. They just, like,
So
their whole
true.
year literally wasted.
Yeah.
Everything they did.
And it's this their one moment in the
Yep.
sun, right? This is their moment this year, and then you're going to take picks away from me? What?
Yeah, I know, it's
What?
crazy.
Come on.
But here's what's funny, though. The way Bill treats this staff, the scouting staff is here. And I don't want to... The scouting staff for the Coyotes is treated differently than they have in the past. And this is true. He looks at them here. Sometimes in staffs, they're looked at as here, as almost an ancillary outside part. But their job is so important.
It's the lifeblood of the
It's
organization.
what drives everything.
Yes.
So having them here for the first time since I've been here for 25 years, this is the first time it's been here. We'll see if it makes a difference.
More on that. The suits, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Let's be honest. The suits take a lot of criticism
do.
around the league. And any time I hear it, and I'm not going to name names.
I heard it today in
quite
the
a bit.
media room.
I
Just some guys
I
next
just
to
look
me.
at the people and I'm like, what's wrong with you? Just have some fun. Why do you care so much about whether? Well, they shouldn't draw more attention to the organization. They're having fun.
Do you think
They're
now
having
it's taken on a whole new life now?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I do
They
too.
are aware of the criticism,
And
and
they're gonna-
it's almost
and they're-
like
they're
a
leaning
big
into
middle
it. So
finger to
they're
anyone
leaning
who
into
criticizes.
it.
Yeah,
So
they are.
I told
Yep.
Bill, I told Ryan, and I told Daryl. I said next year, sand.
Oh,
They're thinking about it, and I think it's a good call. I
And
think sand is a good
Okay,
call.
They might leave it up to the fans.
We're literally sitting here talking about what suits the scouts are going to wear a year from
I don't
now.
want them to go.
You
like
want to
reverse
talk more
retro.
about the draft?
No.
You haven't spent enough time talking
I
about
don't.
But I mean,
I don't.
to your point on
Can
the
we start
scouts,
talking
like,
about Celebrini yet? Macklin Celebrini?
Oh,
Good
we're not
Lord.
going here anymore.
soon?
Like, we're not going to get excited about this stuff anymore.
Iserman? Too
Let's
soon?
just assume that the Coyotes are going to pick like 5th next year.
Okay.
Because that's how the odds are for them always.
Can we?
That's
Can
how
we
the
get a
hockey gods treat
next year? Because we've rumored to hear it's at a certain city next year. Could we kind of try to, once we hear a color, get a color from Bill, and then should we try to mimic it?
Yes.
And then we try to show up like even it's a like the cheap JCPenney version. Can we try? No offense to JCPenney. It's just their cost savings, a wonderful company. But I
don't
know.
think they're going to be upset that
You don't
you
think
made
they're
that
watching?
comment. No.
You know? Okay.
The
But,
big
can we
seats
do
at
that?
JCPenney.
Are you guys? I'm willing to commit to that.
Yeah, sure.
I'm in. Okay.
Craig had nothing to say, but that's okay.
JCPenney just
Fucking-
unfollowed us, by the way.
That would be a step up for Craig.
Oh,
What? Did I say that?
bougie.
Did I
I
say
thought it was
that out loud?
bougie.
Can you tell we've spent a lot of time together
Yeah,
this week?
seriously.
Oy,
Yeah.
oy,
No, I
oy.
think Sand is a good call, but just back to the scouts for a second. What you're saying is, it's true, first of
Yeah.
all, and it's so important, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with treating the scouts like that? What's wrong with lifting them up and acknowledging just how critical they are to the franchise?
Yep.
I like the way he treats them around the draft. It's cool. It's their moment. It's their
Yep,
time.
I agree.
It's not about other people. It's about the scouts, of course, and then about the draft picks, but these are the guys that put in those
Completely
crazy hours, did those crazy drives like you talked about.
It's one of the worst
to Moose
jobs in
Jaw.
hockey.
It is. It's a grind. It's a
Horrific.
nonstop grind.
Yep.
And like 363 days of the year, or maybe a little less, maybe 360. Nobody talks about these guys, right?
No, 100% agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree. And there are the forgotten guys,
Yeah.
but they're so important. And so I'm curious to see this. And I keep saying this about Bill. He did it before. I trust him to do it again. And it's looking right now. It's looking like he's doing it the right way. It just does. But
20 years in the business, right?
Yeah,
20 years
so-
as a scout.
you know, and the more teams you talk to, they go, well, I don't know if they're doing it right. I don't know if the Coyotes are doing it right. Or that was a reach for that. And well,
We'll see.
Bill
We'll see.
did something a lot of those guys didn't do. He participated in a Stanley Cup winner. So until it's been proven wrong, just wait. And I really
Everybody's a critic.
I wanted to succeed, and you look at the things that they're doing, and I still think they're on the right path. Do I think this year is going to be a good year? No. Everybody asks me, well, they're going to be. No, they're not going to be better. This could be worse
We
than
should
last
talk
year.
about that.
And we
should
will.
talk about that.
This summer.
We
yeah.
will. We're
Yeah.
going to talk about that. I don't get excited. I'm not saying that this winning is starting tomorrow.
Right.
This is gonna
the
be
idea
painful.
of taking a step forward means more like they're going to infuse more youth into
Correct.
their lineup.
Yep.
And what happens when you infuse youth into your lineup?
Yep. There's more of that erratic.
Yeah,
we're
you
going to win
struggle
some.
a
We're going to
little
lose
bit,
some.
but you get a glimpse
Yep.
of the future, and that's what it's about. You
This
get a
is what
taste.
Ottawa did 2 years ago.
Yes.
And everybody goes, oh, Ottawa's ready. Look at all this young skill. And they got their ass kicked.
Yep.
But now it's 2 years down the road. You go, oh, my God, that guy's been in the league 4 years now, and he's 24? Oh. And that's where the Coyotes need to get to. And I think it's going to start next year. We need to see those young players getting the opportunity to play in better situations, and then they'll continue to develop. And I think ultimately they'll become a winning group. I like the path this team is on.
I think that was another thing that a lot of the players were asked, like, oh, what are you excited about in Arizona? And a lot of them mentioned the youth and the young guys. Cooley was mentioned a ton.
Yep.
Clayton Keller mentioned. So I don't know. The future is bright. We have a lot of patience, but it's exciting.
Yeah, and the other thing they should be excited about coming to this franchise, and we learned it last season, is Andre Tourigny. He really, really knows how to
Another
connect
show
with
we're
his
going to
guys.
spend time on with 1 year left on his contract. We won't talk about it today.
Nope.
I just want to make sure we acknowledge the $2 super chat from Mike. Said sissies. I think it was about PD refusing
I'm
to do
pretty
a
sure it's to
shotgun
me.
and Craig not
and
doing a very
stones.
good job. Also, Ethan left us a comment to give us a like on this video. If you're watching us on YouTube live or after, hit the like button. Give a big like for the PHNX crew, giving the best draft party, boat cruise, and draft coverage on and off the floor. Ethan, we appreciate it. We have had
A
the
blast.
best week here
It's been great.
with our diehards here in
Seriously.
Nashville.
Let's
who
give
are
them a
here.
hand.
Yeah.
Thank you,
To
guys.
the diehards, thank you
Thanks
guys
for turning out.
for coming. This has been
was-
so fun.
It was
the
so much
boat,
fun.
The
It's
boat was
it's a community.
amazing.
It is a community. It's a family.
Yeah,
And
it's amazing.
I saw people yesterday. Oh, we're leaving this place. We're going to give you. Do you need a ride? Yeah, I'll get a ride. Like that's what we want. To do.
Everyone went to dinner the other night.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
And for those not here who have been here in the chat day in, day out this whole week,
I know CWP
we
would love to be
appreciate
here,
it.
and Chris, and there's
Yeah.
so many more. And
So many more. We appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you, and be sure to give us a thumbs up on this video. Check out we're here in Tennessee, but as soon as I get
Yep.
back to Arizona, I'm gonna get on the
phone.
BetMGM app, because you know what tomorrow is? It's Friday, and on Fridays you can claim a bonus bet on
fantastic.
BetMGM. Every Friday you just log into the app. Boom, free bonus bet. So make sure you do that. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use the bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live. But for our Arizona audience, place your first bet offer and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use the bonus code PHNX. You can check out the show notes for full details. And now you can listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
You know, luckily we've had some amazing beverages here at Love Exile, but I have been missing Four Peaks this week.
The
Not
good
being
news
able to
is
order at the bars has been upsetting.
we have a show tomorrow at X o'clock because we're not sure when we're going to get there. Whenever we land tomorrow, could be 9 in the morning. With the airports today, it could be noon. It could be Saturday. I don't know.
Oh.
Whenever it is, we are going to go right to the studio and do a show. And what are we going to do? I'm wowing it up for a breakfast beer tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Cracking open a cold one.
I can't wait for my
I
fourth.
like
gonna be
that,
talking about
you're
tomorrow?
I'm committing to it.
agency.
What
What?
are we talking about tomorrow?
Free agency.
HK.
Well, we know Petey doesn't ever look ahead of time, so.
I'm grabbing a Four Peaks the first time I walk in the door at 9 a.m.
Kids.
Yeah, but let's talk about
Lots
Four
of
Peaks.
roster spots to fill.
Can we talk about Four Peaks?
We can talk about Four Peaks.
Check them out wherever you buy your beer.
Is it open at A Street Pub? Open at 9 a.m. Probably not.
I don't know, but they do have brunch on weekends, so
do
check
they?
that out. Yeah, and
cool.
swing by the A Street Pub. Amazing food as well. So you can check out Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
Fantastic.
Anything else you guys
I'm
want to
going to
before
talk
we
with
head out?
hit Craig's point too. We are going to literally go from our early morning flight.
We hope.
To the studio and do a show the second we get there live.
Yes.
Maybe not the second,
Well,
maybe
'cause we have
like
to set up.
within the hour.
Well, because this stuff,
For those, that have to do some work before we set up.
I don't.
Yeah, neither do I, really.
So
She
me
does.
and
So
Sean.
you.
Yeah. pretty much.
So I would advise people to watch that show because there are various groups of this group that decided they might not need to sleep tonight. There are others in this group that think maybe sleep might be important. You decide who that is.
The answer may surprise you. As you would. That's it.
Have we
That's
been to
it.
Tootsie? Been a minute.
Yeah,
a
haven't
minute.
been since Monday.
Before we go,
Yeah.
we've already shouted out the diehards, but I need to shout out you guys. Sean DePaz behind the camera there, and Shane Diefenbach wherever he
And
is,
and Michaela.
Michaela's
Perkins.
hiding. Where's she?
There she is. She's over
She's
there.
over there
We
hiding.
killed it this week. I
Yeah.
feel like we killed it. I've been in this business a very, very long time, and the content we put out every day, every minute, it felt like, was just amazing. Like, I talked about this when I made the decision to join PHNX a long time ago. I like the possibilities here. This weekend, or this week, I guess is midweek. It's not a weekend.
Feels like it,
as,
though.
as the draft usually is. This event right here was what I envisioned. We executed so well. Thank you, guys. We killed it. We
Cheers.
killed it this week.
Cheers, you guys.
Had a blast.
I'm not going to hold up that
Yeah.
beer
Yeah,
can.
no.
Had a
I'm
blast.
ashamed.
Cheers. Cheers,
Had a
everyone.
blast. Cheers.
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 We appreciate you guys so much. To our diehards, we sincerely, we love you. And if you want to join the family, you can become a diehard today. Go phnx.com/diehard. Get 20% off merch, 20% off events. We have exclusive shirts that this crew only has.
I'll wear it tomorrow. I promise.
Yeah, I think I might wear mine
I
on
was
the show
gonna wear it
too.
today, and it just got away from me.
And access to Craig's Die Hard only content, access to our Discord, just a ton of great perks to becoming a Die Hard. So become a Die Hard today. Join the PHNX family. Craig, I echo what you say. I'm so proud of the work we've done this week. And it doesn't stop because we got free agency Saturday that we're previewing tomorrow. And then we got development camp all next
Monday.
week, and we are going to be there Monday and Tuesday. If anyone's able to take work off, it's open to the public. So if you're down at the Ice Den, come say hi to us. But yeah, I think that's it from us in Nashville.
Fantastic. I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
And one more thing. Shane Diefenbach, who's right behind me here, he has done a tremendous amount of work on our
every
daily.
video you've seen.
But he's done these daily vlogs where he kind of showed what we did all week.
Whoa.
Please, if you really want the inside look at Nashville behind the curtain,
The vlogs are amazing.
go look at the vlogs.
Behind the curtain, wink, wink.
All right.
Oh,
I
boy.
literally don't understand what that meant, but it was
He's got a
Continue.
cocktail. So.
okay. But please check out his amazing work, and it can
Yes,
show us
please.
all the fun we had on the boat and
by the
on-
way,
on
whenever
Broadway.
we do draft
Yeah,
coverage
please do
again,
Shane's coming.
Shane is coming
Yeah.
now. Sorry,
Phenomenal.
Shane, if you have other responsibilities, because
he doesn't.
F him. You're coming to the
No, it's
draft.
great. Go
You
watch the
have
vlogs.
to
They're a
be
lot of
here
fun.
for the draft. No, I'm just saying he has to be here all drafts from here on out.
Sure.
Okay, so Brandon.
Critical.
So Brandon said, "Where's the host from yesterday?" So Brandon, that's Sean, and he is behind
buddy.
our Mac. He doesn't
Okay,
have a
come on.
mic right now, but yeah, Sean, come here.
Where
for
is that host?
Come on,
he's
come on
here.
down.
There he is.
He is a
There
huge
he
part of the
is.
show. We couldn't do it without him. Sean,
5
amazing.
hours yesterday
Yeah,
with the heavy
holy
lifting.
shit.
Where's Mac? Where's Mac? We
Yeah,
gotta get Mac on the
Mac.
cam. Mac, where are you?
Come say hi. Come wave.
So Sean DePauw's 5 hours live carrying the
Unreal.
show.
Seriously.
Unreal.
Phenomenal job.
Appreciate him so much.
Shane the Deep and
And then
Lock.
everything you
Michaela
saw
Perkins,
on social
Michaela
this
Perkins.
week. Michaela,
And
did an
Stefan.
amazing job.
Twittergram.
Yay. Awesome stuff. So,
Twittergram,
Oh, man.
Instaface. She
Yeah.
was all over it.
yeah, follow PHNX Sports on Instagram and
Yeah,
TikTok, by
Mac
the way.
was churning out
Yeah.
content.
That's a lot of work. Her thumbs are
And,
apparently are
and,
sore.
and NHL, listen, better Wi-Fi, okay? Better Wi-Fi.
Hey man, like an annual
Boy,
tradition. 2 annual
howdy.
traditions at the draft. Gary Bettman gets booed, and the Wi-Fi
Bad
sucks.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, well, this has been a
Appreciate ya.
blast. We're going to wrap up here. To everybody in our chat, thank you. For everybody watching, listening after the fact, thank you. Everybody here in person, thank you. We appreciate it. It's exciting next chapter for the Coyotes, and we'll be here every step of the way, 5 days a week, live. So be sure to subscribe to the PHNX Sports YouTube channel so you never miss a thing. And you can follow all of our adventures on Twitter, at SPetersHockey, at Leah Merrill, at Craig S. Morgan, at Sean _ DePaz, at Shane Deef, at, I don't know Michaela's at. What's Michaela E. At Michaela E. Perkins. There we go. Woo! I'm not used to saying that one. And, of course, follow the show at PHNX _ Coyotes. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we will,
LFG.
fingers crossed, hopefully see you live from the PHNX studios
That's a wrap.
tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Bye!
See ya.